In November 2004, the USS Nimitz, a nuclear-powered U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, was conducting routine training exercises about 100 miles southwest of San Diego, California. Accompanying the Nimitz was the USS Princeton, a guided missile cruiser equipped with advanced radar capable of detecting aircraft at extraordinary distances. Suddenly, the Princeton's radar operators began picking up strange signals, objects they called multiple anomalous aerial vehicles, appearing at an altitude of 80,000 feet, then inexplicably descending in less than 1 second. Confusion spread quickly through the crew. Retired Navy Commander David Fravor, commanding officer of the FA-18F fighter squadron aboard the Nimitz, and Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich were immediately diverted to investigate. Each had a weapons systems officer in the back seat, meaning 4 trained Navy personnel witnessed what happened next. Arriving at the location, Fravor spotted something extraordinary. Hovering just above the ocean surface was a white, smooth, oval-shaped object, later described as resembling a giant tic-tac. The object, about the size of Fravor's own fighter jet, had no markings, no wings, no visible propulsion or exhaust. For nearly 5 minutes, Fravor, Dietrich, and their crews watched this object maneuver effortlessly over the ocean. Fravor later described the moment clearly. "I said, 'Dude, do you see that thing down there?' We saw this little white tic-tac-looking object moving just above the white water. It was aware we were there. When Fravor moved in closer, the object mirrored his every maneuver precisely, as if anticipating each action. Then, without warning, it accelerated at impossible speeds, disappearing from view, only to reappear roughly 60 miles away less than a minute later, a feat unachievable by any known aircraft. When the pilots returned to the Nimitz, their encounter became classified, quietly tucked away by the government. Yet, questions lingered, unsettling and unanswered, whispered among crew members for years afterward. What had they truly encountered, and why was their own government so intent on keeping it hidden? For 3 years, the extraordinary incident witnessed by Commander David Fravor, Commander Alex Dietrich, and their crews remained hidden, sealed away in classified reports, fading into quiet legend. But quietly, behind closed doors in Washington, D.C., the incident sparked deeper questions. In 2007, Senator Harry Reid of Nevada, troubled by similar classified reports, secured discreet funding, $22 million over 5 years, for a Pentagon initiative called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. It was officially an unclassified yet unpublicized effort created within the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency to study unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, more commonly known as UFOs. Its existence would remain hidden from public view until the New York Times revealed it in December 2017. Central to this new initiative was Luis Elizondo, a respected U.S. Army veteran and counterintelligence specialist. Elizondo, the son of a Cuban exile involved in the CIA-sponsored Bay of Pigs invasion, had served extensively in intelligence operations, including anti-terrorist missions targeting ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and Hezbollah. Starting in 2008, he transitioned to the Pentagon's Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence, collaborating with officials from the Navy and CIA. By 2009, Elizondo had reportedly been recruited, tasked with investigating the national security implications of military encounters with unexplained aerial phenomena. Elizondo himself believed he was chosen because of his scientific education, extensive counterintelligence background, and notably, his lack of interest in science fiction, qualities that suggested unbiased skepticism. Yet the deeper Elizondo probed into UAP incidents, such as the tic-tac sightings, the stranger the reports became. Pilots across various branches described similar experiences. Craft with no obvious propulsion, objects outmaneuvering advanced fighter jets, and capabilities far exceeding known technology. Despite uncovering substantial evidence, Elizondo faced increasing internal resistance and secrecy. Government spokespeople later gave conflicting accounts about his role, with some officials confirming his leadership in the program, while others accused him of exaggerating his involvement. Senator Harry Reid himself would later publicly defend Elizondo's central role in the program. Frustrated by what he saw as excessive secrecy, internal opposition, and deliberate suppression, Elizondo resigned from government service in late 2017. In protest, he provided the media with 3 compelling Navy videos, including footage of the USS Nimitz incident, sparking global interest and finally confirming the existence of the program. Yet, even after his resignation and public disclosure, Elizondo continued to claim something even more unsettling: that the US government was actively withholding the truth about UAPs, that the objects seen were possibly extraterrestrial, cryptid, or interdimensional in origin, and that powerful interests within the Pentagon remained intent on keeping that knowledge from the public. These revelations ignited controversy, leaving critical unanswered questions. Why did the Pentagon continue denying truths even after public exposure? And how far might they go to keep certain secrets hidden? By late 2017, Luis Elizondo had resigned, frustrated by internal secrecy and lack of transparency. But his resignation wasn't quiet. It sparked a moment of unprecedented public revelation. Soon after leaving government service, Elizondo gave 3 remarkable videos, known as FLIR, Gimbal, and Go Fast, to journalists from the New York Times. Filmed by advanced Navy targeting pods, these videos depicted encounters similar to the 2004 Tic Tac incident. Unexplained aerial objects defying known physics, seemingly impossible maneuvers, and baffled military pilots. When published in December 2017, the videos exploded into the mainstream, capturing global attention. The Pentagon soon acknowledged the footage as authentic, yet behind the scenes, controversy simmered. Internal emails released later via FOIA requests revealed an intricate, coordinated effort to declassify these videos. Communications between Elizondo, Pentagon officials, and the Defense Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review showed careful, deliberate steps taken to strip sensitive metadata, making the videos officially unclassified. Michael Russo, a Pentagon official, explicitly stated that removing the metadata made the footage suitable for public release, underscoring the military's direct involvement and tacit approval. Critics, however, questioned Elizondo's motives and his true authority. Contradictory statements from Pentagon spokespeople fed confusion, sometimes validating Elizondo's leading role in the AATIP, sometimes denying it outright. Yet, Senator Harry Reid himself publicly defended Elizondo, confirming his leadership of the program. But a deeper look at the emails suggests a more unsettling truth. Multiple officials, redacted from public view, actively collaborated to release these videos. Elizondo wasn't acting alone. If he had deceived or acted illegally, serious consequences would have followed. Yet, none did. This left lingering questions. If releasing the videos wasn't misconduct, why did the Pentagon send such contradictory messages afterward? Why did certain powerful interests appear intent on discrediting Elizondo and muddying the waters around the program? And perhaps more unsettling, what was contained within the redacted metadata, so sensitive that it needed careful removal before the public could ever see these videos. As public interest surged, scrutiny of Luis Elizondo's claims intensified, culminating in unprecedented congressional hearings. Testifying under oath before lawmakers, including Representative Nancy Mace, Elizondo revealed details that dramatically deepened the mystery surrounding said program and UAPs. In an intense exchange, Representative Mace asked directly, Has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs? Yes, Elizondo confirmed plainly. Were these programs designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft? Yes, he responded again, calmly yet firmly. Pressed further, Elizondo's tone shifted cautiously. He explained carefully that details about specific crash retrieval operations were highly classified. I signed documentation 3 years ago, restricting my ability to discuss specifically crash retrievals, he admitted. Representative Jared Moskowitz reacted pointedly. You can't talk about Fight Club if there's no Fight Club, right? Elizondo replied simply, correct. But the hearings grew stranger still. Elizondo openly stated that advanced technologies, not made by our government or any other government, were actively monitoring sensitive military installations worldwide. Asked directly if these technologies were created by private companies or non-human intelligence, Elizondo cryptically suggested it may be both. Further fueling unease, journalist Michael Schellenberger disclosed whistleblower reports alleging a highly classified Pentagon intelligence operation known as Immaculate Constellation, tasked with capturing high-quality imagery of UAPs. One unsettling account described an F-22 fighter jet attempting to evade multiple orbital objects, only to be intercepted and boxed in by 3 to 6 unexplained aerial phenomena. Representative Anna Paulina Luna privately warned Schellenberger that merely mentioning Immaculate Constellation might trigger secret surveillance warrants. The extraordinary secrecy surrounding the program raised troubling questions. What precisely was being concealed, and why did mere acknowledgement provoke anxiety among elected representatives? Classified aerospace projects, including DARPA's experimental programs and stealth technologies, have long operated behind deliberate layers of secrecy and misinformation. A recent investigation suggests that historically, the Pentagon sometimes deliberately amplified UFO mythology, using doctored photos and false briefings as cover for secret aerospace programs. These tactics formed part of a broader strategy designed to mislead both the public and foreign powers, ensuring real technologies stayed hidden. A vast collection of FOIA-released documents from the Pentagon and National Archives reveals patterns of selective transparency and institutional inertia. Information related to UFO sightings and investigations remains siloed, compartmentalized, and deliberately obscured by bureaucratic complexity, making true transparency rare and grudgingly given. Skeptics, including scientists, pilots, and defense analysts, have consistently argued that most UAP reports are explainable as drones, experimental aircraft, or natural phenomena. Yet even these skeptical experts concede that a stubborn 10 to 20% of cases resist conventional explanations, remaining mysterious and genuinely puzzling. Historical patterns add another chilling layer. Past government programs like Project Blue Book, the CIA's Robertson Panel, and today's ARO and NASA study groups share a consistent impulse: reveal as little as possible, justify secrecy under the banner of national security, and cultivate ambiguity around UFO phenomena. Each disclosure, the UAP Task Force and the AARO, feels carefully staged, a partial concession designed to shape public perception without ever fully exposing what lies beneath. Experts like former NASA Administrator Mike Gold have argued publicly for greater transparency and more robust scientific investigation beyond the limited methods currently employed. As Elizondo himself told lawmakers, we are talking about technologies that can outperform anything we have in our inventory. If these were adversarial technologies, it would represent an intelligence failure eclipsing that of 9/11 by an order of magnitude. The hearings concluded without clear resolution, leaving disturbing questions unresolved. Does the U.S. government truly possess recovered craft of unknown origin? Are technologies of non-human intelligence actively surveilling our most sensitive military installations? And perhaps most troubling of all, how long have these unsettling truths been deliberately hidden from the public? The classified files remain sealed, but their shadow stretches across every principle we claim a democracy must defend. Power, secrecy, and individual rights have begun to merge so quietly that the seams have all but disappeared. Whatever unnamed programs may have followed shows how effortlessly a government can decide which truths are safe for public consumption and which must remain hidden indefinitely behind doors we are never meant to open. Each partial disclosure, each carefully worded hearing, each redacted page redraws an unwritten boundary. Here is what you may know. Beyond this line, you are not invited. And so, transparency becomes theater, consent becomes ritual. Reality itself becomes something curated, rationed, managed by unelected officials operating in shadows. If crash retrieval programs exist, if foreign or non-human technologies have been secretly recovered, if reverse engineering is underway somewhere in hidden labs, these decisions were made without public debate, without oversight, without the consent of the governed. The citizen's right to know is weighed against the state's right to hide, but the scales are buried so deep within layers of classification that even their existence can be denied. This is not new. History leaves behind fingerprints. The Pentagon Papers, the Church Committee, the quiet admissions after decades of denial. More recently, Snowden's leaks, surveillance revelations, redacted FOIA documents that arrive heavy with black ink, giving the illusion of disclosure while preserving control. Even the recent congressional UAP hearings, public, unprecedented, bold, could not break this cycle. Each testimony felt like a glimpse through a keyhole, while the larger truths remained locked away in classified annexes, guarded by the same security frameworks that have always decided what we are allowed to see. And so, the question lingers, quiet, unanswered. When a government decides what truths we deserve, does it cross an invisible line that no constitution can ever fully repair? What happens to democratic accountability when knowledge that could change the course of humanity is sequestered behind clearances, silos, and secret budgets? What happens when those who hold the truth answer only to themselves? If the objects are adversarial, the failure is one of security. If they are not of this earth, the failure is one of imagination. And if they are ours, kept from us by human hands, the failure is one of trust. The silence stretches on, the sky remains open, the files remain closed.